All right, looks like things are back, so I'm going to finish up my installation. So every step we took, no, this is where to continue from. So after you go through all the initial steps we just set up, it will load all the it will load the virtual file, the VMware file, sorry, the files for your virtual server, and should take a little minute. All right, now on Slack, I'm just dumping a bunch of IP addresses. So if you go to Slack right now, everybody go to Slack, you will see everybody's assigned a set of IP addresses. You can copy your own out or take a picture, whatever you want to do, but just have it handy. We're going to be using it for our configuration of our virtual machines once they're all ready. All right, so while this is installing, we can go ahead and start setting up, configuring Nstar DC. So we're going to do the following things on the Nstar DC. DC stands for domain controller, and you're going to see what that is in a moment. All right, so these are the steps we're going to try to perform on all our virtual machines. We're going to try to get all of this done. Well, not all of it because it's almost 9 o'clock. But we're going to go as much as we can. Hopefully, we can get to at least this point. So we'll start from our domain controller server, this Nstar DC. So here, if it doesn't, no more updates today. If you're on this page and it's asking you to press Ctrl or Delete, if you try to do it from your keyboard directly, it's going to do it for the entire computer, and you see your screen will go blank. So that's not what we want. And that's one way of doing it. It's still going to bring it up for you, your login screen. The better way of doing it is if you go to VM, and then you see we'll have send Ctrl or Delete. It will open this, give you this login screen. So go ahead and type your password. All right, so now you see we're connected. This looks pretty much like a server on its own. I need to move this thing. It's in my way. Zoom. Get out of here, bruh. It only happens with this. Let me see if I can increase the size of this. There we go. All right, so I'm on this. So you see how this is like a normal computer. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disable the UAC. So to disable UAC is, again, I'm not really going to explain everything I'm doing here because it's just Windows steps. They are not SQL Server steps. So you need to go to the desktop. To go to the desktop, if you come down here, you should see the Windows icon. Or you can just hit the Windows key on your keyboard. If you hit the Windows key, it's going to bring you to this home page. So the Windows key is right on your keyboard. It should bring you to this front. All right, so right now, everything we're configuring is on the VM. Make sure you're always on the VM, not on your computer, because you see the way it's laid out is a little bit different. So go to control panel. And in control panel, go to user accounts. And then go to user accounts a second time. So there's a few things we're going to do here. The first one, the last option is change UAC control settings, user access control, user account control settings. So go ahead and select that and drag this all the way down. Drag that slider all the way to the end and hit OK. Do you want to allow? Yes, we do. All right, that's the first step. Now, next, go to manage another account. And to the right, go to administrator. And then create a password. Again, you can reuse your strong password that you've been using. This is a very important step. It will save us time, pain, and suffering in the future. Create a password. All right, go back to control panel. Let's go up the top here. Go to system and security. Then go to Windows Firewall. Go to Windows Firewall. Then on the left, you see where we have turn Windows Firewall on or off. Select that. And then just choose the turn off option. Turn off Windows Firewall and turn off Windows Firewall. Again, we are disabling the firewall so that the servers can connect to each other. The firewall will normally block external connections, but we don't want it to block it. We want to build a network. So go ahead and hit OK. All right, so now we have our Windows Firewall in place. Next thing we want to do is configure our IP. So remember, I've just given you a set of IP addresses to use. I'm going to steal somebody from the weekend classes IP address. I hope it's not come right. Because my computer here is on that class. All right. On the net, on your tool to configure IP address, come to the right side of your screen. You see where we have that network icon. Again, make sure you're on the VM, not your actual computer. You see the network icon right there. Right click on that network icon. And then open Network and Sharing Center. Under the Network and Sharing Center, go to Change Adapter Settings. And here right click on Ethernet and go to Properties. Select this Internet Protocol version 4. Properties. Use the following IP address. All right, so under the IP address, specify the first IP address on your list, the first number, set of numbers. So you have something like 192.168.44. It's the same for everybody, and then this last number is one that is different. All right, so just go ahead and pick your own numbers. All right, so yours is Mr. Steven, yours is 36 for the first one. And I'm using the Essential Zone at 16. You have to just keep that in mind in case. All right, so once you put the first IP now, go to the next line. If you come down here, you see it's going to populate itself. Once you go to the subnet mask area, it's going to populate it 255.255.255, whatever that is. Just make sure you're following what I'm doing. On that default gateway, so on default gateway is the same 192.168.44.1. Everything else is the same. The only thing that is different is your IP address. That's what the numbers I gave you. Everybody's own here will be unique. But the subnet mask and gateway, same thing. Under the preferred DNS, use 127.0.0.1. All right, once you do that, go ahead and hit OK. Now, when we do the next Nstar class 1 and Nstar class 2, we're going to replace this preferred DNS with our IP address here. So keep this your Nstar class 1 number in mind. We're going to use this for Nstar class 1 and Nstar class 2. So hit OK and close. All right, so we've done the IP address. Now let us go ahead and configure the domain controller. The Nstar DC is our domain controller. Basically, that's the host for our network. So we're not going to be doing any database stuff on Nstar DC. We're just going to be doing only network configurations and server configuration here. So minimize here, come down to your, open up Server Manager. So if you see this screen here, can you see that where my icon is? That's the Server Manager. It's always open that up. Click on Add Roles and Features. We're trying to configure domain controller now. That's what we're doing. Add Roles and Features. Sorry, move this up a little bit. All right, so hit Next. And role-based installation, hit Next. Again, we'll just keep hitting Next until we get to roles. When we get to roles, we're doing Active Directory Domain Services. When you select that, then hit Add Features. Yeah, the second one, Active Directory Domain Services. And then hit Add Features. And then go Next. And Next. Hit Next again, keep hitting Next. And install. I should go through. All right, so once it's done, we can go ahead and hit close. All right, open the server manager back up again. So right there, open it up again. Now you see this warning. Do you see that warning sign, that notification? Click on that, and you see where it says promote this server to a domain controller. Select that option. All right, so go to add a new forest. Under the root domain name, name your domain. You're going to call this Nstar _ your first name. So Nstar _ Steven, Nstar _ Jesse, Nstar _ Kingsley.com. All right, again, you also be different. Nstar _ your first name. All right, go ahead and hit next.
Just make it full screen. Don't just make it full. The dialog,
Again, specify the same password we've been using. We're going to keep reusing this password. Hit next. Hit next again. All right, and once it brings out the DNS name, that's fine. Hit next.
So it's trying to bring up your forest.
All right, hit next again. Keep hitting next. Pretty much is next, next, next. Now it's going to check for prerequisites. Beautiful thing about this is we will not be doing this. This is done by the server engineers. They will give us our already built server. So this is not our responsibility at the place of work. All right, so I've met all the prerequisites. So go ahead and hit install. All right, so it's creating the domain controller. Once it's done, it will sign us out, and then we'll sign in into that your Nstar domain that you just created. All right, so it's signing us out. Now it's going to sign me back in, and all should be well. Meanwhile, while that's happening, let me check on my Nstar class 1 and 2. Let me make this screen smaller. So go to Nstar class 1. So everything is good here. And 2, All right, so my Nstar class 1 and 2 are done building. So while my DC is logging on. So that's great. So we can configure Nstar class 1 and 2. Right, it's taking its time. Okay, excellent. So it's done creating the domain. So try to launch the, do the Control Alt Delete again. Try to sign in. All right, so I'll come to VM, send Control Alt Delete. So now you see that it's signing into your domain, Nstar_ your name, not the computer name anymore. So that's important to keep in mind. This is how your logins will look when you do it from work. All right, so we have one more thing to do on our DC Nstar is to go back to control panel. So go to your desktop, go to control panel. On that control panel, go back to firewall. So go to system and security, go to Windows firewall. Whenever you build a domain like this, it creates a new firewall. So we need to turn this one off as well. So go to turn Windows firewall off and select turn off and hit OK. All right, so we're good there. Can close this out. Come back to the desktop again. I'm going to create some accounts that we're going to be using in the future. So come, you see we'll have Active Directory users and computers right there. Active Directory users and computers. Select this one. Active Directory is where you manage all of your accounts from. So when you start a new job and they say they are creating your login, they are creating a password for you, all of those things. They do it from Active Directory. Active Directory is how we manage accounts on the network. So expand you should see your domain.com. Do you see yours? You should be see Nstar_ your first name.com. Expand that and go to users. Under users, right click on users and do new and user. So for this first one, type Nstar for first name, last name, admin. And under logon name, type Nstar admin, one word. Nstar admin, one word, hit next. And specify your password. Again, we're using the same password. All right, after you specify the password, you see where it says user cannot change, user must change password. This is normally what they will do. If this is your first day at work and they need to give you a password and you can change the password later, they will use like 1, 2, 3, 4, and they give it to you. When you type, it will not ask you to replace your password with a good one. But since that's not what we're trying to do, uncheck this and change it to password never expires. So you can keep this thing for as long as, and hit next and finish. All right, so we have that Nstar admin account here. Let's do one more. Go back to users and right click, new, and user. This time I'll call this first name Nstar, last name service. What language are you speaking? And then login name, call this one Nstar SVC. For service, this is their service account that we're going to use for installation. So hit next. Again, same password. And then again, uncheck this and set it to password never expires. Hit next and finish. And the last step we want to do is we want to upgrade these accounts and make them administrators. Right now, they're just basic user accounts. We want to make sure they have admin privileges, including our user account. So highlight all 3 accounts. Just hold down your shift button and shift and down and select all of them. Or you can use your mouse to select, highlight all 3. So highlight all 3 accounts, right click, right click it and then add to a group. Under add to a group, come down here and type domain admins. Domain admins, type that and hit check names. All right, type domain admins, hit check names. You should underline it, that's good, say okay. And it says add to group successful, so just hit okay. So now all of these accounts are members of the domain admins group. All right, so now we are done with our domain controller. So now we need to go to Nstar class 1 and 2 and repeat all the steps except domain controller, and then we're going to now join all of them to the network. All right, so let's go to Nstar class 1. We're done with Nstar DC right now. Go to Nstar class 1. Go ahead and sign in. You see, this one is still signing in locally. You're still using just the username. All right, let's go to control panel. So go to your desktop, go to control panel, go to user accounts, go to user account again, change user account control settings, and drag this all the way down. And okay, yes. manage under accounts. This you actually don't need to do on this side, but it's fine. Let's be consistent. Administrator, create a password. I know if you're online and you're not clicking this thing along with us, you're probably bored out of your mind right now. All right, so create password. Next, let's go back to control panel. We need to disable the firewalls. So that's control panel, system and security, Windows firewall. So now it's green. To the left, to turn Windows firewall on or off. And do turn off and turn off. And OK. That's definitely not English. The next, we want to configure the IP address. So come down to the bottom right to see the network icon. Right click on it. Open Network and Sharing Center. Again, repeating steps. Change adapter settings to the left. Under the Ethernet, right click and go to Properties. And go to TCP/IP version 4, the last one, and then Properties. Use the following IP address. So now you're going to use your second IP address for Nstar class 1. So again, 192.168. Yeah, so yours is 37. Mine is 17. Once you go to the next slide, it populates the subnet mask automatically. Default gateway is the same thing, 192.168.44.1. And then this preferred DNS, now you're going to use the Nstar DC, because remember that I told you earlier that the Nstar DC is the host for the domain, right? So we want to point all the other servers back to the domain, to the network. That's the host of the network. So in this preferred DNS, we'll use the previous IP address for Nstar DC. So that'll be 192. That's your first IP address, 192.168.44. In your own case, it's 36. In my case, it's 16. Mm-hmm. And if you're not sure, just refer back to your list. All right, so go ahead and hit OK and close. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to join this server to the network now. All right, so come down to this file explorer down here. You see the folder explorer, the Win file explorer. Click on this. Under computer, right here to the left, computer, right click on computer and go to properties or properties. All right, so you see where under computer name, you see where it has change settings. Click on change settings and then click on change. Under computer name, rename this computer name to match your VM. So change this to Nstar class 1. All right, go to domain, come now to domain. Now specify your domain, your Nstar underscore, your first name.com. right? And I hit OK. It's going to ask you, do you want to use computer name? Go ahead and say yes. Is that the correct spelling? Maybe. Nstar_weekday.com. Tell me, this computer is a problem. What do yours do? All right, so put your administrator and your password. So just type in your administrator and then put your password.
So the password you'll be using to go through the username is administrator.
191.168.44. 16. Right? Is that what I used? Oh, nice. 416.
The same password you'll be using.
I had a bit of troubleshooting. Let me check. So definitely can't see. Let me see what I missed here. Again, these configurations, if you miss something, everything else is going haywire from there. For the 417. All right, everything looks correct. Yeah, so that's.
Check the IP for the PC.
Yeah, that's 192.168.44.16. So the 16, that's it. So somehow it's not reaching. I know, right? Maybe she's where she is saying I don't use my IP address.
Maybe if we restart the DC.
That's 44. Correct. Yeah, please close the door. I don't know what they're watching there. Let me see. It's breathe. So that's correct. Everything is correct. Why are you giving me a hard time then? And we disabled the firewall here, right? Yeah, so everything is open. All right, let me. All right, now I refuse to join the domain. I'll try it again. See. All right, it's replying this time, so let's see. Let's try our luck again. Properties, change settings, change. Nstar_weekday.com. Yes. Yep, so that's what's supposed to happen. So it'll bring up this pop-up for you, and then you put in an administrator account and the same password we'll be using. And this is the reason why I said just create one password that'll keep you reusing. So you don't want to think about what you have only one password. Because how many passwords have we used so far? How many you would have been having to remember almost 10 passwords. So it says welcome. So now it's going to restart and join me to the domain. So what I just did is I just made Nstar Class one part of the network. So I'll go ahead and close this out, restart now. All right, so I'll go ahead and hit VM, send Control Alt Delete. So you see now it's trying to sign you into Nstar Class 1, but we don't want to go to Nstar Class 1. We want to sign into the network, the domain. So hit this back arrow and then hit other user. All right, so just put in. So now we're going to use one of those accounts that we created. So use the Nstar admin, the one, and put the password. We're going to use the new account. All right, so now I'm in Nstar, I'm into my Nstar class 1. Let's go ahead and disable the firewall. We'll log off later. All right, so go back to control panel, go to system and security, Windows firewall. So you see that it creates a new firewall. So go ahead and turn Windows firewall on or off, and turn off. All right, so Nstar class 1 is ready. Let's go ahead and set up Nstar class 2, and we'll call it a night afterwards. All right, so let's go to Nstar class 2. We're going to repeat all the same steps. So sign in. And let's go to control panel. So go to your desktop, control panel, go to user account. We want to disable UAC like we've been doing, user account. So the same, we're repeating the same steps. Same thing multiple times. Change user account, control settings, drag this guy all the way down. Hit OK. And yes. Next is manage another account. Enable administrator, create a password. All right, so once you manage, when you finish this, go back to control panel. Next, we want to disable the firewall. So system and security, Windows firewall, turn Windows firewall on or off. Again, we're repeating the same steps, so you should be able to get through this really quickly. So turn off and turn off, and hit OK. Next, we configure IP address. So bottom right, see your network icon. Right click that, open network and sharing center. Change adapter settings. On the Ethernet, right click and go to properties. And TCP/IP version 4, properties, use the following IP address. So here you specify your IP, the third one now we've used, this number 3 we're using. 192.168.44. This first set is the same thing. This is 18. Please make sure you're using the ones assigned to you. Don't use another person's own. Especially if you're physically located in Georgia. All right, and then default gateway is the same 192.168.44.1. Now, under your preferred DNS, you're going to use your Nstar DC IP. So the very first IP we use, just like we did last time, 192.168.44. Mine is 16. That was my Nstar DC IP. If you're not sure, you can go back and confirm, or you can look at the image. You can see mine is 16 right here. Yours is definitely 36. So hit OK and close. So now we've set up the network. Let's join this server to the network. Let's do it a different approach. So go back to your desktop. So click on the Windows. On this computer icon, right click on it and go to Properties. So it brings you right back to the original place. Hit Change Settings and change. Computer name is Nstar Class 2. And your domain is your domain. So Nstar _ your domain, your first name .com. Hit OK. And yes. All right, it brings up your window. Administrator. And then specify your password. And it says, welcome to Nstar Weekday Domain. So that's excellent. Well, say, welcome that we've joined this, we've successfully joined this guy to the network. So right now what you're doing is server and network administration. So even though you're learning SQL Server DBA, we're expanding your skill set, your knowledge range. So you're a guru everywhere. So hit OK. And OK. And close. Restart now. What happened? So once we sign back in, we'll go back and disable the last firewall and we'll call it an evening. My Fridays are really long. At this my job, I actually have my first meeting by 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to set a reminder to upload these things quickly so that the online people can take care of this ASAP before Tuesday. So let's sign in VM, send Ctrl-Alt-Delete. Again, don't log into this place. Your login is the local account. You want to sign into the network. So hit back, other user. So now you're signing in. You're signing to Nstar Weekday. That's what Nstar your first name. So now type in that's again the account we created, Nstar admin. I was like, okay. Any more strange things about to happen? All right, so once we sign in, let's go back to control panel. Our mission is simple. Disable the domain firewall. Open control panel. System and security. Windows firewall. Here you see the new domain firewall. Turn Windows firewall on or off. Turn it off. Hit OK. And voila.
So yeah, same control. The one of the others.
All right, so that is where we stop for today. When we come on Tuesday, we'll go ahead and install SQL Server, and we'll jump right back into doing database work. Now, please, importantly, if you're trying to practice at home, the IP settings that I give you guys are designed based on my network right here in class. All right, so if you're at home and you're using this IP address settings, because I don't know your home IPs and everything, I can't create a IP setting for you. So when you're trying to connect to the virtual machines and you're at your home network, this applies to you as well, sir. Don't disconnect from your home internet. Very important. If not, you will have trouble connecting to the VMs. Make sure your laptop is not connected to the internet when you're trying to practice virtualization at home. Like when we start installing SQL Server and everything, if you try to access this VM outside of the network here in class, you will run into issues because the IP address in this building is different from your internet at home. Does that make sense? So don't be on your internet when you're connecting to the VMware after now. So keep that in mind going forward. All right, I think this is a good place to stop. So I'll try to upload these things ASAP tomorrow. Enjoy Valentine's Day. Or don't enjoy Valentine's Day. Agap, stay. go and hustle. If you don't have money, no Valentine for you. All right. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll do this again on Tuesday. Have a beautiful night.